And welcome into another edition of A Closer Look. I'm your host, Dwayne Nelson, and with me in the studio is my friend Lori Worley, who is with the Bristol Chamber of Commerce, and we are glad to have her here today. So glad you're here.
Oh, it's good to be here.
And we're going to talk about racing, and of course that's coming up this weekend, and we got a lot of stuff that is going to be going on and happening, but the Chamber is involved in this event very much.
Well, you know, we have so many people, as you know, especially for the August night races, so many people come into Bristol from outside this area. You know, you've seen it, all 50 states, 24 countries. And a lot of them, when they come in a week ahead of time or 2 weeks ahead of time, they're looking for stuff to do. So we see quite a few of them come through the Chamber. We talk to them about things they can do in Bristol, in the area, in the Tri-Cities, and give them a little bit of help because, you know, we want to show off Bristol. It's not just, although racing is obviously a huge part of it, we want to show off the birthplace of country music museum downtown and our beautiful South Holston Lake and River and downtown Bristol and all the history there. So we love the fact that we have so many people stopping in. It really does amp up about 2 weeks before the race. People start coming in a lot to the Chamber, just asking where they can go eat, where they can go shop, stuff like that.
Well, and chambers in different cities have typically been the place to go to because they know the best eating places and the best places to stay. But those places, the eateries and the restaurants, they get a boost from all of this activity as well. Oh,
yes. I mean, the restaurants, not just, it's restaurants, it's hotels, it's grocery stores, it's retailers. I mean, when the races are in town, the economy is vastly improved, and a lot of money, is a huge influx of money into a lot of these places. So the campgrounds, I mean, it's just crazy. And you just think, what in the world would you do if you didn't have those races to bring all that into Bristol and the Tri-Cities, and not just the Tri-Cities. There are people that stay in Asheville and Greenville and Roanoke and places like that for the races. And then you've got tons of campers. Probably 55% of the people who stay here for the races are in campers. And they're buying groceries at Food City and different places, and they're buying all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, it's just a tremendous boost for the economy when the races are in town.
And folks, I would assume that we're going to see a large crowd at the track this year, being Dale Jr.'s last rendezvous with racing. And you've been really close to the Earnhardt family even back when Dale Sr. was around, and it's going to be probably a little remiss coming.
It's a little sad for me to even think about it because I remember just, you know, obviously I remember how sad it was in 2001 when you know, the spring race rolled around and Earnhardt wasn't in it. I didn't think I'd make it through that race just because pretty much forever he had been racing at Bristol, and it was so weird not seeing that 3 on the track. Junior, on the other hand, of course, he's been coming to Bristol since he was a little kid, and he had that sweep there, you know, years ago, and you want him to go out on top. I want him, selfishly, I don't want him, you know, I want him to win at Bristol and nowhere else. You know, I want that to be his final win because it would mean so much to him and so much to so many people. And that track has just, it's big for the Earnhardts, always has been. His dad won his first race there. He won 9 races there. It was his track. I mean, when you came to a race back in those days, you know, it was either, there was a certain amount of people that were cheering for Earnhardt and the rest of them were anybody but Earnhardt in those days. But, you know, I think it would mean a lot to him. He knows that Bristol has a huge legacy with his family, and I think it would mean a lot to him and all of them in the Earnhardt family if he could come there and win, you know, the Bass Pro NRA night race.
Yeah, and I think this will be a great way for fans to get great souvenirs and memories that they will not have at any other track, because Bristol is, face it, it's one of the most popular tracks in NASCAR.
Yeah, and I know that the track is planning some special stuff for him. I don't know exactly what it is. I know that they are planning to do some things, and you know, Food City has been such a great partner, and they were a partner with his dad years ago. And they, you know, I know that Food City Race Night, I'm sure they would love to have him come to Food City Race Night. And I know he's doing some extra stuff at each track. And, you know, I'm hoping against hope that there's a way that they could somehow lure him to that downtown, because that's such a huge event. You got 25, 30,000 people that come to that every single year. And Food City has been a great partner for Bristol Motor Speedway for a number of years. This, I believe, is the you know, this is the 25th anniversary maybe of the Food City Race Night downtown, and you know, they're doing all kinds of stuff to, you know, that's such a great event because it's just, you know, $5 and it goes to charity to come to the event. They always have some good drivers doing autograph signings. There's all kinds of free food and all kinds of giveaways and things like that, simulators. So that's a great event too. So hopefully Junior will come to that if there's any way possible. I know his schedule, and you know, as I say that, I know very well that his schedule is packed every single day. You know, and I just think it would be great for him to come in on Thursday night and do that event, and then Saturday, yeah, I'd like to see him, if not get the pole, I want him to win the race. That would be the greatest way for him to go out of Bristol.
Absolutely. And then we've always kind of termed this as race week, because everything kind of goes on starting on the 16th on Wednesday night. You've got the doubleheader and, of course, the truck race, and that's always action-packed. Yeah,
the truck race and the modified race on Wednesday night, I have always said, if you're someone who has not been to a race, that is a great opportunity to go and get a feel for it, because the races are not long. They're also some of the best racing you'll ever see at Bristol Motor Speedway. And they've got it's free for kids, 12 and under, or I believe it's 12 and under is free. It's free on Friday night for the Food City 300 for kids. And then kids are still getting in for $10 for the big night race on Saturday. So if you're someone who, you know, you've been on the fence, maybe you've not been to a race, you want to do something fun with the kids, this is a great opportunity. You've got Wednesday night, Friday night free, and you've got a $10 opportunity on Saturday. And you know, to me, that's just incredible. And I think that says a lot about what NASCAR and the speedways have decided, that they really know that they want the kids to get in there. They want them to develop a love for the sport and an appreciation for the sport. So, you know, they're kind of putting their money where their mouth is, and they're letting them, you know, offering them tickets for either nothing or a little bit of nothing. So it's great.
Yeah, and this is a great way for families to come out all together, and it doesn't cost you so much.
Yeah, I mean, you can, like I said, if you've got little ones, I mean, you can bring them to these races on Wednesday or Friday night for nothing. And then the tickets are not that expensive for adults. And then I know that there's probably some discounts out there, especially for Wednesday night. And I think you can get tickets for as low as $35 a person on Friday night. And I know there's a lot of great deals for Saturday tickets too. So, you know, and it's just, you know, the racing is something else. It's second to none in my opinion. Of course, I'm a little biased because I grew up watching races there. But you know, it's also the atmosphere is amazing around race week. I mean, you've got all the stuff, not just on the property at Bristol Motor Speedway. Earhart Campground has they got amazing entertainment. You know, they have all kinds of concerts. They have drivers that come over there and do some appearances. I know they're working on some special announcements that they're going to do some special stuff for the race this year. So, I mean, it's just a great atmosphere to walk around. There's all kinds of, you know, you can buy your favorite driver's apparel. You can go to the Bruton Smith building into the Speedway World there and buy souvenirs of your favorite drivers or Bristol Motor Speedway. There's and I would be remiss if I did not mention one of our favorite people in the world, Claudia Bird, and all the work she does with the Bristol chapter of Speedway Children's Charities. On Thursday night, they've had this forever. They have an auction, you know, upstairs on the third floor of the Bruton Smith building. They've got some cool autograph stuff always. And you can go to that auction. You can help Speedway Children's Charities that way. Throughout the race weekend, there's cornhole tournaments. I know they're doing a 50-50 raffle again this year. So I would encourage you, if you can, please support Speedway Children's Charities, because I believe over the course of since 1997, they've raised about $11 million.
Right, and they just, I think this past year was able to hit that $1 million mark.
Yeah, so and I know that's the goal, and that's tough to do every single year, but I know that's the goal every year. You know, Claudia doesn't want to turn anyone away when they ask for money, and that's always her goal, is to have enough to give every single person, every single organization money in Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia that needs it. So, I mean, I hope they do well with all those events
Oh,
too.
yeah. And let's talk, one more thing is the transport parade
Transport
that's
parade.
right after the race night.
And that's such a great event. And, you know, this will date me, but, you know, I was in charge of that the very first year I went to the racetrack, which was 1997. That was the first year they did it. Right. And that thing has grown tremendously. Here's the thing about the community has always been so very supportive of every single thing that the Speedway has done. And the transport parade's a perfect example because there are people that sit alongside the highways, the roads, especially leading into Volunteer Parkway there, right. Leading into the track, and they wait for that. And it's just such a cool event. And you know, I can remember back in the day when we started it where they weren't so excited, those transporter drivers weren't so excited about having to clean up their vehicle when they got there and stage it and get ready to, and now they really look forward to it because it's their event and they're the stars of that event. And that's just another cool thing. And I know, you know, a lot of tracks copied the Speedway after we started doing it at Bristol Motor Speedway. When I was there, a lot of tracks started doing it.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's just been a great event and always has been. Great support from the crowds and, you know, just another way. I mean, you've already had 2 races on Wednesday, and then you've got Food City Race Night Thursday. You've got the Transporter Parade and all kinds of cool stuff happening with Speedway Children's Charities.
So basically anything and everything that you want to do, you're going to find it around the track. So come early, get there early, and that way you can get all the neat stuff and get to enjoy all the neat
Yeah,
things.
and just, you know, enjoy Bristol, come downtown. You know, we got some great places to eat. We got some great places to shop. You got the Pinnacle, you got the Falls. We got all kinds of cool stuff for people to do.
All right. Thank you, Lori Worley. Make sure that you get your ticket to Bristol and enjoy everything around the track.